Babe, it's not that easy though. I know you're a star student here, so it might come easy to you, but they didn't teach classes focused on chemistry and physics at the Royal Academy. Well, think about it. My world was born and has lived with magic, so things never truly did have a scientific explanation, like the teachers here keep explaining in class. Plus, back in the Royal Academy, they were teaching so many lords and dukes and marquises that they were focused on how to rule and run a state. I know, it's still not an excuse for failing my last physics exam, but babe, I'm just trying to give you some perspective, you know? I thought my days of studying were done when I graduated early from the Royal Academy, but what do you know? I get teleported to your world and have to do ridiculous classes explaining things I don't even understand. True, at least we are together. How have I found it living with you at home? Well, your uncle seems nice enough, even though he's barely ever around. It's crazy how much freedom you have, even though you don't have adult status according to the laws of your world yet. Gives us more time to do fun things together? Don't be silly. I don't know. Where do you want to sit? I mean, staying in the cafeteria is good with me. Sure, here works. I don't know if I'll ever become accustomed to the strange traditions of this world. So, every day at the same time, the bell dismisses us to eat our lunch in a limited time? I see. Seriously, babe, this is also confusing. I spent 17 years drilling every protocol, every tradition, every manner of my world into my head, and now all of a sudden it's different. It's a lot to take in. I know you'll be with me every step of the way, and I'll be with you. But on a more serious note, you said earlier that you had some leads to follow? Something about the spellbook with the school's logo you told me about the first day I got here. That's amazing, babe. That's like a breakthrough. So, what you're saying is that while the yearbook club was promoting people joining their club and handing out rough drafts of this year's yearbook, you recognized it as what you thought to be the spellbook, meaning the spellbook was actually a rough draft yearbook from our school, meaning that the only people who would have access to a copy are people from the yearbook club. That's great. That means we know that someone who knows more about whatever's happened to us is in that club. You were thinking we investigate during our next class? Right. That way we can investigate the yearbook club without all of our fellow peers seeing us. Smart. What am I doing? Okay, look, I'm not usually a picky eater, but there's just something about carrots that I can't do with. Yes, that's why I'm pushing them all to the side. Babe, you don't have to eat them off my plate for... How is refusing to eat carrots cute in the slightest? Everything I do is cute? Now you're just teasing me, seriously. What am I gonna do with you? Hey, random question, but do you think they've realized that we've gone missing yet? I know time moves so much slower there, but you know your knights and my ladies in waiting are observant. They would realize eventually, right? You're right. We just have to keep pushing on leads and get back to them so fast they'll be confused as to why they thought we were even missing in the first place. We got this, right? Okay, so we're both gonna ask to leave class for different reasons, of course, so we aren't suspicious. Then meet up in the north hallway, right? Got it. Looks like it's time to play spies. There you are. What took you so long? Was it hard getting out of class? That's hilarious. You never want to miss class time, so you usually set your breaks for in between classes. That's why they found it strange that you asked to go to the bathroom in the middle of class. You're so cute, seriously. I'm making you blush? Please, you were engaged to the princess and was about to be king in my world. I know it's almost impossible to get you flustered. Now come on, lead the way to the yearbook club's room. I see. So, even if we don't find anything obviously pointing to the fact that a member of the yearbook club knows about us, it can still limit the amount of leads we follow individually. That way, we can start investigating each person in the club. Makes sense. I really hope we find something. Yeah, you're right. We will. It's this door. Shoot, it's locked. How do we. How did you get the janitor's keys? When you catch the janitor smoking without permission, it's easy to ask for a small favor? You did not. Nice, babe. Okay, we have 20 minutes before class is over, so we should have more than enough time to look around. Got you. I'll start looking around the desk, then you start with the jars over there. Nothing. This just reminds me of that time you were framed for stealing the famous Sun Emerald, and we had to sneak into King Ryorsin's castle to find it and prove your innocence. Is it strange how I kind of miss that? You miss those times too? They were so much simpler in a way. I mean, when you were first teleported into my world and the loyal followers of the dark side wanted you, disposed of, they really tried anything. Framing you, locking you up themselves, getting rid of you in any means necessary. But everything was so much less complicated then. No traveling through dimensions or confusing stuff like that. Just a clear enemy we had to overcome. Not any of this investigating stuff, you know? You're totally right. They're smart, so they wouldn't leave clues so blatant out in the open. But since we do know the spellbook you thought you discovered was actually a rough copy of a yearbook, maybe finding some indication of who has authorization to edit or print them would give us a place to start investigating further, like. Exactly! Like a list of the yearbook club members, you're a genius! Right. We can scratch out all the first years since they wouldn't have authorization to the full rough draft document to print it, leaving us with only a couple names to investigate. These are real leads, babe. Of course I'm excited. This could mean everything could go back to the way it was. You're right. Sorry. We have each other, and that will always be enough. Shoot, I think someone's coming. Quick, we gotta go. Come on. I haven't run like that since my father almost caught us on a date in the garden instead of me doing my royal duties. We're always caught in the most peculiar situations, aren't we? Where are you going? Class is that way. D- Ditch class? Is that even allowed? Of course not. Then why would we. Excuse me? I'm not a goody princess. Didn't I prove that through all of our adventures back in the kingdom? It's just, they seem pretty controlling here. I mean, I wouldn't want to get in trouble. Me speaking about the day in the garden reminded you of something? What is it? Sure, I'll go on a date with you. Before we got brought here, we weren't able to spend much time together in the kingdom recently. With all the engagement details, the dragon terrorizing our people, it's kinda nice to have some alone time. Don't get me wrong, I want nothing more than to go back to the kingdom. Back to everyone, our people, our friends. But maybe this doesn't have to all be bad, right? I mean, when was the last time we spent hours together multiple days in a row? Maybe bad situations can have their positives too. No, don't worry. I didn't feel neglected back in the kingdom. We both had duties to fulfill. It was just busier than before the engagement. Where are we going anyways? The roof? Oh, it's the only place teachers don't constantly check for ditching students? You were always one to memorize small facts like that. Does come in handy though. Fresh air. Just what I needed. Babe, what was that thing you asked me I was doing the first time we met? Of course I remember. I mean, technically we first saw each other when you spawned in the throne room in a beam of light. I remember how startled the council and my father the king were when you appeared during our time of crisis, just as the legends foretold. But we officially met the afternoon before your introductory ball to the kingdom. You ran away from our butlers because it was apparently quote unquote boring, hearing all the mannerisms you were supposed to keep up during the ball. You found me under a tree after one of my lessons, and you said the strangest thing. What was it again? Oh, cloud gazing, right. I remember finding it so bizarre that one would choose to spend an afternoon simply hoping to find shapes in the clouds that float throughout our skies. I had always been taught that time was of the essence, that to be a diligent princess, I had to fill my head with knowledge and hone my intellect to a point where no one could ever fool me. After all, once my father passes, the weight of a whole kingdom would be on me and my partner's shoulders. But then you lay down beside me, and as I almost lectured you about how inefficient such a waste of time is, you looked me dead in the face and told me it would be a waste to spend a day with such good weather trying to be efficient. It seems so long ago, doesn't it? Yeah. Why are you taking your jacket off? No, for me to sit on? A gentleman as always. You know, maybe, these are the same clouds, the same skies we would be seeing if we were still in the kingdom. I know it's silly, but when I was young, before my mom passed away, she would read me these fairy tale books, and there was this one story that always stood out to me. Sure, we can lay down. Here, let me use your arm as a pillow. Yeah, it was about these two lovers, separated by dimensions. They would communicate through sending beams of energy through the sky, painting messages and even pictures out for the other. That would mean they were looking at the same sky, right? In order to send messages to each other? I don't know, it's kind of comforting to know our worlds aren't completely different. I mean, if the stories are true. What are you doing? My hand? You don't have to promise me anything. I know you'll get us back. I never doubted you for a second. Look at me. You've never failed me. The countless times I was taken as leverage towards you or towards the kingdom, you've always been there. My hero. I'm not getting sappy, I'm just telling you how I truly feel. And I truly believe in you. Don't be silly. Okay, let's try this cloud gazing thing out. What exactly am I looking for? Shapes, right? I can look for other things too? Like what? Oh, animals too?